meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Goddard.
Here.
Green. Here. LaFleur. Nastravich.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Schultz. Yard.
Here. Motion to excuse Dennis and Jim from tonight's meeting for being out of town would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. We move on to approval of minutes for the regular council meeting of August 4th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any discussion? Is that the one, Jamie, that you have? Yes, it is.
No, it's the round.
Oh, it's the other one?
Yes.
Okay, it's round table. Okay. Anything on this? Do you not? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. We also have the minutes from the roundtable meeting that was held right after the regular meeting on the same date. Jamie?
I would like to amend the last line of page 1 of 4 to read, council not comfortable with the layout of council table, would like the layout more like the existing city hall for security reasons. That's one. The second one would be the last line on page 4 of 4. To have it read, consensus of council is yes on the annexation of the cemetery and no to the township getting the residence rate due to the fact that the city currently subsidizes the cemetery and cannot afford to further subsidize it. There are my proposed changes.
Okay. Did we have a motion? I'm sorry.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Support. Okay, any discussion on that? Thank you for putting it in writing. Any discussion on that? Any not? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. We move on to audience comments on any non-agenda items. When we get to the agenda item, we will open it up to the public at a certain time. But meanwhile, we have our new superintendent in the crowd with us tonight, Brian. If you'd like to come up to the podium, Dan, one of our board members.
I'm just here tonight on behalf of the Board of Education for Richmond Community Schools, and I brought along with me Brian Walmsley, our new superintendent. Just wanted to meet all you guys and give a few words to say.
Thank you. Mayor, City Council, it is an honor and a pleasure to be here. One of the foundations of a great community, one of the many pillars of a great community is the strong educational system. And it's my honor to serve the community of Richmond and students of Richmond as that superintendent for that great educational system. I look forward to the partnerships with the cities in the future, as well as what we can do for our students and our residents of Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight. You guys have a meeting tonight? No?
Committee meeting.
Huh?
Committee meeting.
Oh, committee meeting, okay. You don't have to spend the whole,
That's the
got a
honor.
long agenda here, so don't feel bad about walking out. We know you're busy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to have any comments? Moving on. Adoption of agenda, Mr. City Manager, any changes?
I would just ask that item number 5 be removed. I want to do a little further research on that.
Okay. Appreciate that. Council, any changes? Motion to accept the agenda without number 5. Support. Any discussion? If there is a motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support. It's been made and supported. There is no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? And those pass. Moving on, we have 9 items this evening for consideration. First one is consideration of request to keep chickens at 69894 Beebe Street by Olivia Chambers. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider a petition from Olivia Chambers to keep 6 egg-laying chickens on property located at 69894 Beebe Street. The applicant is the stepdaughter of the property owner. Their application letter states that chickens will be ISA brown chickens. The property in question is located adjacent to the southeast corner of Beebe and Madison Street. The city ordinance requires the keeping of any poultry to only be done with, that prohibits that within the city except by permission of the city council. Before you have the letter from the applicant. Also, we've received 2 emails that I've also forwarded to the council from residents in the area per our policy that we've developed over the last few years. We send letters to all of the adjoining properties. I think there were 7 letters that were sent out, and so it was council's discretion.
Very good. Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the petition from Olivia Chambers to keep up to 6 chickens on the property.
Support. Been made and supported. Discussion. I would ask Mrs. Chambers,
She's not here right now. I'm I'll ask here on behalf of her.
would you like to speak to City Council on the issue?
My daughter would really like to keep these chickens. She's sort of, in my opinion, a hell of a nut. Everything's organic. She'd like to raise her own chicken, have some chicken eggs and chicken at the same time. I have been working on a coop and everything to make it look nice for the neighborhood. For when the kids, all the kids that come by run up to the cage, they get excited. So I thought, you know, she wants them, let's give it a shot. The property is not a small lot. The lot's 132 feet wide by 300 and some feet. And the neighbors that live behind us, I don't think they have a problem with the chicken.
Address the council, sir. Address the council.
Sorry. I mean, it's just, I have a small grandson that lives with her, and he enjoys it too. We're still waiting for that first day, you know?
Do we have any questions?
I do have pictures of the coop area if you'd like to see them.
Yeah, we have them.
No, you got the one before the coop is finished.
I guess I have a questions for you specifically then. We already have an ordinance in section 14.9 about this is pets, so I'm not talking about the ordinance of the keeping horse, cattle, swine, sheep. That's our section 14.58. We're limited to 2 types of animals, like 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 domestic. So why 6? Why so many?
Like I said, everything she eats is organic. She doesn't buy anything that has any growth hormones, anything. The purpose of the chickens, you get 6 chickens. 6 chickens, they can lay eggs. If you're lucky, you get 3 that lay eggs good. Well, the other 3 just become the meal.
Okay, so it's
Well, you start with 6 and you never end up with 6. We hope to end up with at least 3, possibly 4. But more likely it's 50-50.
Any other questions? Thank you. Okay, back to the chair. You have, is it 2 or 3? Did one person call in?
There were 2 people that called in. One that said, I believe they were going to be able to make the meeting tonight, and then one that said they would possibly be sending a letter or an email. Hoping to receive 2 emails.
2 emails. The 2 emails asked that it would not be granted. We haven't had that problem before, where the neighbors, was this the 3rd time that we've been asked for a farm animal?
4th.
What kind of?
We've got ducks on pound, ducks on hair, and chickens on loose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, three previously.
Three previously.
And we didn't have any concerns from any of the neighbors at that time. The ones that we did have concerns with, once we went over where it would be located, they were fine with that. I got a problem with the neighbors having a problem with it. It's a corner lot, it's different than the other three parcels. That's another issue. It can be seen from at least two directions right now. I have concerns, definitely have concerns with the location. I would, and I've stated before that I'm not for farm animals inside the state limits to begin with. I would be probably more prone to support if the majority on council was to support if it was more of a fence, a privacy type fence that blocked the view from the neighbors. That may be hard to do. Backside definitely, it's got obstructing fence on it. But where it's at is just wide open to the public. And the other three really are not. One's on a dead end street next to the woods. The other one is a Pearson Karen, pretty much obstructed view. And then the other one, of course, is on the other side of the Richmond Road back by the woods.
And Mr. Mayor, so two of those situations are ducks, which are used as pets, which are, I guess, different animals than chickens. And then the one chicken that we have approved is on 1.45 acres, and the property also is on it's on the outside of the city limit. Like, it touches the city limits, which then is like woods and farmland from there on out. So there are no like adjacent neighbors for the chickens. And the one that the council did approve chickens for. And you guys also know my stance on chickens as well.
Any other discussion at the table?
I just concur with Councilor Green that looking at chickens, that other situation was completely far removed. It's on an actual people that own the chicken coop area for that one. It's a separate piece of property. It's way far away from everybody else. You can see it. It's very discreet. Whereas this one is just right in the neighborhood. And I've got a number of calls because I'm in that area as well. So I really support chickens, but this one, unless it can be really cleaned up and cooped in, just do the comments that I got from local citizens and constituents.
So, Councilor Charter, if I may ask a question then, would you be, though we make a decision tonight, if they, Mrs. Chambers brought back a proposal for when she wants to pursue this further, is this a one time as it is, as a denial, or could she, because we weren't asked permission beforehand, which is in our ordinance to be done, so where previously they brought chicken coop plans, what they planned on doing, their size, their measurements, what their structure looked like, what the building, the coop itself was constructed of. Could we give them a suggestion to do that? Or is this just because of where the area is?
My statement was that it would be more, I could support it if the council was supporting it. I could support it if it was not seen like it is right now. Would I push the issue? No, because as I've stated previously, and I've already said tonight, I'm not in favor of having farm animals inside the city limits. I remember what it was like when we still were grandfathering them, and it caused a lot of problems. Let alone what we've talked about in the past and some of the issues that chickens definitely can cause, and that's a health concern for the neighborhood, definitely. So no matter how clean you keep it, it can still cause problems. So I'm not
Okay, I just wanted it to be clear.
pursuing, but
okay.
certainly the the person would have the opportunity to come back to the city of Richmond and talk to our planner or city manager about the possibility. But it may be a far stretch, I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah, I don't, I mean, I appreciate the holistic movement and the idea of the home chickens, and I get it. I'm not anti-chicken. But, you know, is that we want to talk about health concerns and upkeep and due to close proximity. The emails we received seem to focus on also the general upkeep of the yard. And I think when we allow this, that there needs to be a certain amount of confidence regarding upkeep. And due to close proximity, I mean, if there was a privacy fence, I think you mentioned, you know, if it was fenced off, there's only one fence that the chickens are in. So one of the concerns that they get out of that, where are they going to go? If there was that, both that privacy fence and retaining fence was there, both providing additional assurance that they weren't going to leave the yard and dealing with the obscuring it a bit from other neighbors who feel affected by it, I would be more, you know, apt to approve it. At this point, I would vote no, based on the conditions, based on the concerns of the residents. I don't have my feelings. I would not have a problem if it came back if there was an effort to address the conditions there, potentially if there was a fence, and if the neighbors changed their position, if we, you know, if they spoke to these neighbors and the plans include if we do this, this, and this, and those neighbors said, okay, now I'm okay with it, then I think I'd be apt to vote approving it.
Anything else at the table? Okay, audience comments. We ask that you come to the podium, say your name and address for the record. I'm going to hold you to around 3 minutes, Marilyn.
All right. Hello, my name is Marilyn Frank. I'm a neighbor. My yard actually butts right up to it, the back end of her yard. I'm on Madison Street. I have seen the chickens when she brought them in. They have just changed the fencing as of this last weekend, so I'm not sure if you have an updated picture. They've got a nice little coop for them. I don't hear them at all. I don't smell them at all. I understand that, you know, she's really working in her yard, and there's been some things, and she's changing things, so there's been a little bit of the upkeep, like you were talking, but it's coming forward, it's progressing, and she's really proud of it. And her son is really proud of him as well. I've talked with a few people, they didn't even know they were there. My concern, you know, when you talk about, I know they must bring, you know, diseases and stuff, but she is into holistic and she's into taking care of them. So I see him, and like I said, I walk my dog by there twice a day, and she does not even go towards him, doesn't look at him, nothing. She has no recognition, and you think an animal would smell that kind of thing or pray, but no, not at all. And just my concern, if you're concerned about noise, we have some dogs on the other side. That's a whole other issue, but they're very loud all the time. And there's some skunks in the neighborhood that come up that park, up my walkway there, the fence row, and they're very smelly. I don't smell the chickens at all. Well, thank you. I would hope that you would consider it, and you know that they can have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Diana Maniaci. I live directly across the street on Madison and Beebe. And like she said, where the coop is moved now, it's right next to the privacy fence of the other owner, like that lives next door on Beebe Street. So they can't see them. You can't see them if you're looking at the front of her house. You can see them from my house. It doesn't bother us. There's no rooster, there's no noise, there's no smell. And the coop that was just built this past weekend is very, very nice and very out of the way. So we don't have a problem with it either. And our 2 houses are the ones that would see it. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I asked for, I want to get it on the map. I wanted to ask for where she was.
We're right on the corner of Beebe and Madison.
The very corner house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'd be the northeast corner.
I look at this one,
Right.
this one.
Okay. Because 3-6, the other one came, the other one came from right across. So we have the corners. Okay, that's why I make sure I have the right one that was across. Okay.
Anybody else like to address council at this time?
My name is Michael Maniaci. Live across the street. My wife was just talking. If you're looking in front of the house where their porch is at off of Beebe, so if you're talking about the house across the street, the property line is so small, there's actually already an old fence up. You cannot see behind that house from Beebe. You only can see it from our house. So you have to be either, when I look out my front window, I see her driveway, I see her porch, I see her yard. She's got a garden that she takes care of. The coop is phenomenal. It has siding on it now, shingles. It's awesome. You know, you look at it, you're like, wow. He spent a lot of time doing it. The privacy, if that was the case, easily it could be hidden from the sidewalk, but there's absolutely no problem. We all came from farmland. You know, we buy chicken eggs at the grocery store, are more contaminated for us than we even know. These are fresh farm chickens. She's a help. She's big into help. If they're bad, she's going to get rid of them. If they're too much upkeep, she's going to get rid of them. Her father's going to get rid of them before that. He's going to say as a dad, hey, you don't have time for this. Get rid of these things because I'm not going to take care of them. Let's all remember where we came from and not take up all this worldly stuff. And I think they're totally fine. My wife thinks they're fine. My family thinks they're fine. It's George and Maryland. They're right behind it. We're across the street from it. I just hope you guys reconsider. Go look at it. The coop is awesome. I'll go over there and help. We could do a little privacy fence. We could do some taller shrubbery. You will not see it from the sidewalk at all. It's very nice. So that is all. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, Matt Bauman. I'm sure all of you know me, considering I work here. I'm frequently on Madison Street. My girlfriend lives there. I help walk the dogs. I go on it all the time. I've never noticed a chicken coop. It doesn't really bother me. I haven't seen anything, small anything. So, all I like to say.
Thanks. Just want to get on camera and still be
It's fun to change it up.
We appreciate your comments. Anybody else? Okay, back to the table. Councilor, have any other comments? Discussion?
Just want to point out, every day, I went by there, Sunday night. So, what was the last update? We talked about cleaning it up. I drove past there Sunday night, just looking at it. So I did look at it. Again, I see two neighbors that are in close proximity who don't want it. Two that are saying it's okay. I'm a big property rights individual, but I also have to respect the property rights of the people that are close proximity. From the comments in the email, my impression is that if it was tidied up and there's a privacy fence, I suspect those other two neighbors would at least from the comments I've seen, they may be willing to change their viewpoint. But as long as it's this balance, I'm going to side with the neighbors, the two that don't at this point until there's some further improvements. And I encourage them maybe to try.
If council was to deny this as presented, is there any timeline?
We would normally give somebody a reasonable time to come into compliance with the ordinance. Have never dealt with this, and the ordinance doesn't spell out what happens if someone went ahead and got chickens before getting the permission. My thought would be like a 30-day window to find other arrangements for the chickens.
If they wanted to come back and petition council again, is there a timeline there?
There is not, and in general, we've been reasonable with people to try and, you're in the process of re-petitioning, coming up with some plans on various fencing or edging options, and you're making an effort to go talk to your neighbors, we would work with them to bring it back to council.
And I think that's,
I mean, in general, that's how
Yes.
it's operated rather than here's your notice tomorrow.
right. Oh, yes, yes, absolutely.
Council's been comfortable with that kind of working.
Okay.
But I would still follow through with, here's what's the action, then here's the timeline.
Absolutely.
Then they will come.
There's not, in other words, there's nothing stopping them from coming back after working with the administration, coming up with what council may allow to happen. Okay.
Postponement on this decision.
If you want to make a motion,
Sounds
to
like
postpone.
they've been making some progress in trying to make it a better situation, whereas it wasn't from the first time.
You can do that, Michael, by making a motion to postpone. There's no discussion on that motion, as far as I know.
Don't you?
I don't know, directly.
Table, there's no postponement. Is there discussion on postponement?
Is there?
I know on table, there's not.
Yeah, tabling, but also tabling kills the subject. I would much rather, if it's vote on the motion in front of us, and then have discussion, further discussion, because I feel council wants to go further on this.
Yeah, so my motion, I'm not changing my motion.
Yeah, okay. Any further discussion?
Well, I just seconded the motion just for a point of discussion.
Right,
Just wanna make that-
that's how the motion was made, it was for further discussion.
Doesn't mean not necessarily.
I'm going to vote to deny. If council wishes to continue the discussion after we deny it.
And so, that we say, if we all agree to deny it, then we can have a further conversation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is council comfortable with that? Okay. I'm getting things on the table that we want to do a long discussion. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Is there any other
motion
discussion on the
made.
motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Now, the feeling, as chair that I'm getting is that we want to work with them, if they'll work with us. From some of the council members. Again, I'll state again, if it was obscured from the public, and as the city manager said, if support can come from the neighbors, then again, we put it on a one-year trial basis. I can live with it. If there's complaints that it's not up kept or whatever, it becomes part of our nuisance ordinance, I would imagine. Mr. City Manager, if it's not kept up, if the pen's not kept up and there is a smell or there's an issue, that would fall under maybe our ordinance, our nuisance ordinance. Maybe?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was just trying to,
I know what you did.
I'm making a list of things that I believe council will want addressed.
So do we need to make another motion, like for example, a motion, like I would make a motion to give property owner P. Chambers 30 days to come up with another proposal?
Jamie, you can make any motion you want. What I would recommend that we direct the administration to work with the petitioner and be back to council within 30 days.
The second meeting in September.
Yeah.
Right, so we don't need to make a motion for that, we can just direct.
That's what council wants to do. You want to make it formal or not?
My only thing about making it formal is because so many things slip through the cracks, like something that on our consent agenda has been there for 4 years. So that is my concern, is that if we don't make it formal, it can fall through the cracks.
Sure. Yeah. That's why I said I think we probably should make one then.
Yes.
In 30 days. Direct the administration to work with the petitioner
Yes.
and council. And come back in 30 days with a proposal from the petitioner. All right? We good? Okay, does somebody want to make a motion to that, or is there further discussion? So thank you, Jeff. Support. Any other discussion? And our council rules, is there any other discussion from the public on this new motion?
Is it possible?
Up.
Sorry.
Get after it. You have one more hearing, really.
Is it possible for Mr. Chambers to find out what the objections were from the emails? Will he be able to get those specifically?
The city manager will work with them.
I'll work with them on that tomorrow. I'll have a discussion on emails with our attorney. As I mentioned, all of the property owners that touch that property, even, for example, across the street, even though the street's in clean, so we kind of see what is went. But in the meantime, I'll also answer that question.
So they can address the correct problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. All right, item number 2, consideration of approving the Smart Fiscal Year 2015 Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contracts. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to approve the Smart Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contracts for 2015. The contract reflects Council's request to fund the Richmond Lennox EMS Community Transit Program with funds that the city receives from Smart. For the fiscal year 14-15, the city will receive $16,274, which is an increase of $1,388 from last year.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Smart Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contract for fiscal year 2015 and agree to transfer the amounts of $5,662 in municipal credits and $10,612 in community credits to the Richmond Lennox EMS in payment for the community transit service.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Mr. White, would you like to address council on this issue?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'll be brief. I'll just mention a couple of quick statistics on the service. We continue to average about 200 rides per month on the community transit service here in the city of Richmond alone. So that is a great number, a significant number of people being helped by that service. I've taken a look just to see if members of council had not had the opportunity to see kind of where we came down in the recent election. The Smart, the millage that actually funds Smart, and in the city of Richmond, we had 442 yes votes and 323 no votes, just to give you an idea of where your city came down on this issue. We do know it was an increase this year. We understand that as an organization. We had no control over that. Smart sets those numbers. But what we were able to do is get some consideration from Smart to give us at least a small increase for our local service. The city manager mentioned that it was an increase from last year. I think it was probably an increase going back about 3 or 4 years now that we haven't seen any increase in the amount of money that Smart provides the community for providing this service. And as everybody's aware in the room, the cost of inflation has just driven up our costs as well. So it'll be a well-used, increase for us all. So with that, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate council always giving us this consideration. Like I say, it's a great service for our communities to use and disabled, and obviously, like I say, very well used here in the city.
And Jeff, you have the millage not passed. There was a very good chance the program was going to completely go away. We were given some different opinions from Smart as to whether it would go away completely or not, but certainly it would have been cut back substantially. I mean, it would have taken about half of the money, or a little over half of the money out of the city of Richmond alone. So if you take half the money out of the program, you probably have to cut half of the service at least at that point. And there are some economies of scale as you get bigger. So would it have been a half? Will we cut the program by half, or we cut by 2/3? We tried not to do those calculations. In all honesty, we were hopeful that the folks in Macomb County would pass the millage they did, and we were able to move forward without making those specific kind of drastic predictions and cuts. Council, have any questions for the director? Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts too, keeping that going. Council comments, discussion.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. White that we have one of the most well-run public transportation systems, I would say. And I appreciate what you do, and its residents appreciate it as well. And I hope that with the millage that we will see an increase in funding because we manage it so well and it works so well up here. And he's coming back up, so I'm a little bit nervous.
No, it just struck me that this would be important, and so if you'll humor me just for a moment, thank you, by the way. But the folks that I would always thank, and it's why it brought this to my attention, are the drivers. We have the most amazing group of, for the most part, retirees and folks, a lot of Richmond residents right here that are on their second careers with us, driving those buses, and they really make the program go. I just have the pleasure of being able to come take the accolades for it, frankly, but they're the really guys to be thanked. Having said that, we are looking for a couple of more drivers for the system right now as we speak, and so I kind of make a quick help wanted to add to council members for folks you may know in the community, and to the folks that will see this on Channel 6 to know that we are taking applications right now for the job of part-time driver. So thank you for letting me make that announcement.
We'll send you a bill for the advertisement. Any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to share that in my role representing us at SEMCOG, prior to the election, the directors of SEMCOG came to provide an informational presentation on what would happen. And I think, as we're aware, last year the municipal credits fell out of the state budget and we had to fight to put them back. I made it very clear to them the importance of this service that is so important to us and is providing such a great service to us here, to not forget northern Macomb County, that although we don't have a regular route, that this is the only thing we get back for the money that we put in. And the fact that my expectation is that should municipal credits fall out of the budget again, I would hope that they would be standing with us fighting to keep them in the budget. And at the same time, and I wanted to share the fact that they were very complimentary of Richmond Lennox in front of all the executive committee with SEMCOG, stated that they were very happy with what they see happening with Richmond Lennox and the service that they provide. So I want to get that information back around.
Very good. Anything else? Being not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3. Consideration of special event request, use of Trailhead Park by the Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Sijan.
City Council is scheduled to consider approving a request from the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce for a fall decorating contest and the use of the Trailhead Park on October 11, 2014 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Chamber and the City and Tifa have worked together in the past years to decorate the light poles roughly from Howard Street up to Park Street. Then last year was the first year we partnered with the Chamber of Commerce to do the Scarecrow contest. And so this year I believe the Scarecrow contest and the event in the park are very similar to what we approved last year.
Very good. Very good. The Executive Director is here. Jill, would you like to address Council?
Oh, of course. I need to kind of make an addendum. We are doing a banner. I have my request in for special circumstance to put the banner out there, and we'll reuse that. This will be our second annual. I already have 4 entries, believe it or not, and we're kind of excited about it. We've sent out applications to the previous participants, and I hope to get more, because the more we get, then the less I have to decorate, which is just fine. But we do appreciate your support in this matter, and we would like to have cider and donuts at the Trailhead Park on the 11th of October. We did that last year. We had the different scarecrows up there, and then we had people, we invited them to come by and have cider and donuts and vote. So we'd like to do that again.
Very good.
Yeah, just the location of the banner would be at Berlindy's.
Well, the location of the banner right now will be at Berlindy's, and then as we get closer to that, actually it will come down. It's not necessarily going to travel up to the Trailhead Park. It's just going to be in conjunction with another banner that we have for the Little Days for that activity.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request from the Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce for a fall decorating contest and the use of the Trailhead Park on Saturday, October 11, 2014 from 10 to 1 p.m.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Any audience participation on this one? George, can you do Scarecrow?
I was thinking about it. I think it'd be pretty.
I could tell you were thinking about it. Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Good luck, Jill.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is number 4 is consideration of special event request, use of Trailhead Park for prayer service. Mr. City Manager.
The City Council is scheduled to consider approving a request from the First United Methodist Church, Trinity Lutheran Church, and United Church of Christ to hold a prayer service in the City of Richmond Trailhead Park. Pastor Susie Hutchison from the First United Methodist Church submitted a special event form to use the Trailhead Park on Sunday, August 24th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for a prayer service.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the request from the First United Methodist Church, Trinity Lutheran Church, and the United Church of Christ to hold a prayer service in the City of Richmond Trailhead Park on Sunday, August 24th, 2014 from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Support. It's been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
Folks are using the park.
Pardon me?
I am appreciative that folks are using the park.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Any audience comments?
We're too fast.
You got about a minute left.
Well, it's going to be wonderful. And it's nice because the 2 pastors from UCC and Methodist are brand new. And so they'll see the support. And of course, it's for April, for her 1-month anniversary, to kind of open up the trail again. So I'm glad you guys are going to approve it, and hopefully we'll get a lot of our members there. And also wearing pink too is kind of our thing. So we're opening it up to the city. So anybody, please come and show the support that we're going to be using the park still. That we're not afraid. Thank you.
Anybody else? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Item number 6, 5 was removed. Consideration of approving resolution number 2014-13, state trunk line contract for 2014 through 2019. Mr. City Manager.
Council is being requested to adopt resolution 2014-13, which if adopted would approve the 2014-2019 Michigan Department of Transportation state trunk line maintenance contract and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the contract. Under the contract, the City of Richmond performs winter maintenance, pavement marking, street sweeping, weed control, tree and shrub maintenance, and other routine and special work is authorized by MDOT. The contract designates Public Service Director Jim Getzinger as the city's maintenance superintendent for the state trunk line highways. Actually, it just kind of worked out that this 5-year contract was up now, because if not, we were going to be designated Jim next meeting as the maintenance superintendent for this contract, because right now it's currently pointed towards Paul. So this kind of helps take one item off of next meeting.
Sure. Now, we won't want to put our new DPW director on the spot, would we?
I think we would.
Yes, of course we would. Yes.
Considering you just got this about 4 hours ago.
About 4 hours ago. Oh, you should be a master at it, right?
Well, obviously, M19 is through the heart of the city, so it makes sense that we maintain it. They 100% cover our costs, so there's no loss on our end.
Really good. You recommend it, Jim? Would be your first recommendation to the city of Richmond.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
You've actually been talking to Marlon Springs about some of the things that we needed to designate him as, so that even though St. Beth Steve was aware of needing that motion passed.
Very good. Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to adopt resolution number 2014-13, which approves the 2014 to 2019 Michigan Department of Transportation state trunk line maintenance contract and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any discussion? Well, luckily, they haven't taken this away from us. Don't have to worry about some of the things the state does. It helps, I'm sure, fund some of our programs within the DPW. Any other discussion on this item? Any audience comments? Or down to just you three? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Item number 7 is consideration of lot split. Combined request for 35545 Pound Road and 35480 Willow Lane. Owners, the Yards and the Mableys. Mr. City Manager?
Sarah and Jeff Yard own property at 35545 Pound Road and are requesting a split of 0.08 acres at the back of their property to be combined with Dorothy and Charles Mableys property located at 35480 Willow Lane. Both properties are located within an R1 single-family residential zoning district, and the split combination request will continue to meet the requirements of the current zoning.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully I pronounced their names.
Mr. Yard, would you like to excuse yourself from the table and address us? Or would you like to stay at the table?
No, I actually would like to be allowed to abstain and step away from the table as this is my property.
You don't have to, as I explained to you, but if that's what your wish is, does anybody at council have a problem with that? Very good. Don't go too far. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the lot split combined request from Mr. and Mrs. Jeff P. York for parcel number 50-7-3-35-226-17 and Mr. and Mrs. Charles M. Mabley for parcel number 50-7-3-35-226-8. The lots combined will be complete for the 2015 assessment roll after all 2014 taxes have been paid.
Support. It's been made and supported. Any discussion? Jeffrey, would you like to speak to it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to start off by saying that I've seen many elected officials, and this is one of the most efficient professional councils I've ever seen. I just want to give you a comment. This involves a small piece, about 400 square feet of property north of Gillette Drain, which doesn't create value to my property, but will likely provide some value to Mr. Baker. So we're transferring it to create the natural property line being the Gillette Drain.
Very good. Any comments from the public? Back to the table. Back to the table.
Is there any other efforts for the other property owners to do the same thing? Can I have a natural boundary line?
Starting with my, this was offered to the Lockwoods to the east. They decided they weren't interested. And I'm one of the other properties. There's actually more land north of Gillette Drain. It's just I have a very small piece, and then actually that little piece backs up to Mr. Maber's house, where the other properties back up to us.
Makes sense.
And if I stand on that piece of property, I actually feel like I'm in Mr. Maber's backyard. So I thought it might be a better fit.
Any other discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Jeffrey, get back in the Thank you. Okay.
No.
Item number 8 is consideration of designating an MML voting delegate and alternate voting delegate. Mr. City Manager.
We have received notice that the annual meeting of the members of the Michigan Municipal League will be held at Northern Michigan University on October 16th. The MML is requesting that the city designate one official and one alternate who will be in attendance at the convention as the city's representative to cast the vote on behalf of the city.
Thank you, sir. Council has talked a little bit about this. The council would like to suspend the rules for a moment and talk about this a little more.
Yes.
Okay. The concern is the distance. It's being held, it's the annual meeting for the Michigan Municipal League, which we're a member of, and it's happening in, is it Marquette?
Yes.
Marquette, in the UP, on a Thursday at 11:15 in the morning. Normally Jeff and Mike are delegates and alternate delegate. Is it that we do not want to travel that far and the expense and everything else to go to the annual, besides the fact that, I think Jeff, you mentioned the agenda really wasn't something that you felt was beneficial?
Well, I reviewed what topics they were going to cover, what issues were going to come up. I don't think that based on the cost, it's 7 hours travel, additional, there's the time travel, taking additional time off work just for a travel day, then travel back. So in the fact that there's not financial constraints in the city, I didn't think it was worth trying to save that money. I would like to save that money for the Lansing Legislative Conference, which is 1 day, and generally definitely productive day for us to be in Lansing. I thought it would be a responsible thing to do to get the most for the city for the taxpayer. We don't see a lot of that.
So they're requesting that we designate a person to attend their convention, and also a separate motion for an alternate. And I would much rather we did not, and I'd much rather we sent a letter. If council so wishes, at our displeasure in holding something so far away from so many of the municipalities that are involved in this. I can't imagine that there's more municipalities up in the northern Michigan University area, Marquette, than there is in the lower peninsula. So what is this? I don't understand. Is this more of a vacation or something? Kind of like everybody going to Mackinac? I'm not real happy with that either, never have been. But why do we have to go way up into Marquette for something that we would attend? So I don't know, how does council feel about that? You guys are the ones who deal, with MML.
My sense from this is that the UP delegation often feels that they have to drive, down. Most of the time, the meetings are down here. I think the last annual was in Detroit. So they always have to make the drive down here, and I think there was some need or feel to once in a while to go up that way. And actually, very infrequently do actually go up that way.
But you have been, I believe, is it MML has often been over in Grand Rapids area?
They have. I think it's about a 3-hour drive.
Yeah. So I mean, why weren't we if nothing else, in the center of the state would be better than going all the way up?
Gaylord, there's conference centers there. I mean, that would be more of a compromise.
Yeah.
Even Lower Peninsula.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of other communities just like us that can't afford to go, there. So it just.
I sort of think our non-attendance will communicate. Frankly, I'm a little concerned with the topics. They seem to be focusing on certain issues a lot, and I think that's worth us communicating to them. It's at both Councilman Strauss and I are both on the governance committee, which meets at this convention and Lansing. I'm quite sure. I think we'd be happy to carry the message to them in that. I'm sure there's going to be a discussion about the location at the next meeting at the legislative conference in Lansing. I suspect it will come up.
Well, I certainly hope
council's comfortable. We'll carry the message into that session.
I don't know. I kind of agree with the mayor on that. I would like to send a letter from us too, not just you guys. I think it should have a little bit more force. Not that I don't. What you do is fantastic, and I appreciate what you and Mike do for the MML, but I think just us as a governing body should send, because the MML really serves the people who belong to it, and that what we find value in their membership. And so some of their topics that they're discussing aren't even relevant to the communities up there, which is kind of the irony of it.
It just didn't make sense.
I think the council, just offering that, you know, if not,
Yeah, we do.
For sure, certainly.
I think when I look at the agenda, the material did not warrant the expense and time of going. I think if the material was different, that was being included, I think it would then warrant. I don't know that I have so much an issue with the time and the drive and the money, but I mean, I think if we're going to spend the tax dollars to go up there and take the time, the material needs to be relevant to what our needs are.
I guess I would just like to point out, since Jeff and I have been going frequently to these events, that we have shared the burden as far as cost. And I think, as Councilor Yard mentioned, you know, it's more of the time, I guess, because we've been haven't been getting reimbursement for our expenses for traveling, for the mileage and that sort of thing. We've just kind of said, hey, that's our contribution. We'd like to go to these events, but just from being so far away and so much time, that it doesn't really seem right. So really the expense has been the registration and then the 1 or 2 nights for the hotel accommodations, but it's just not.
That's my whole point. If they want representation,
right,
why would you go way up in the top of the UP to hold your meeting? Doesn't make any sense, as you said. You know, you guys have, you know, as we have cut back over the years on all expenses, that's another area that we cut back on. And you guys determined that, you know, you share the cost, like you said, Mike. And now they are holding it in an area that's so remote in the state of Michigan. It doesn't seem as though it makes any sense to have it that far away when you want representation there. You're asking for representation. That's what we're here for tonight, is representation for the convention. You're holding it, as Sonny Elliott used to say, you know, way up here, you know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyhow, whether or not we send a formal letter, I personally, I'm fine if you guys make it known that, you know, the reason you weren't there is because of the distance. And then whatever else you want to add to that. But I just wonder what kind of attendance is. I'd like to know what kind of attendance we're going to have. I'm sure we'll probably be able to find that out when they do their convention issue in their magazine.
So do we need a motion that we are refusing to send a delegate to the MML?
Well, that's not a bad idea. Were you making that motion?
I'll make a motion then that the city of Richmond is denying the request, denying the request for attendance at the MML convention.
Do you care to add due to the venue?
Help me out with something.
Due to the location?
Due to the location and content.
And cost.
And cost. And
Karen, how are we doing?
We replay it on YouTube.
Okay, we played on YouTube. Okay, you'll get the gist of our motion there.
Sorry.
Does everybody understand where we're? Okay, is there a support to that? Support. Okay, there's support. Now discussion. I think it's a great idea because we aren't saying anything. It covers the topic. And then you guys can still, when you go to legislative Lansing, you can still, or any other time, express our displeasure. We're having it, especially in these times, so far away.
Well, actually, you know, it's probably beneficial to both Councilor Mastrada's side representation on those other committees, that if the council says we're not happy with the content and the distance, so that they, like anything, the organization doesn't say that these two who have always been delegates aren't coming because they don't care or whatever. The council is agreeing with, you know. So as we continue to be involved in the governance and other committees, it's sort of on record, hey, the council agrees why we're not. So.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Good idea, Jim. Any other discussion? Any audience participation on this motion? Back to the table. Smiling faces back there. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Number 9, consideration of appointments to the WHPA Appeals Board. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider making appointments to the Wellhead Protection Appeals Board. The WHPA Appeals Board is appointed by the City Council and is comprised of 3 members who serve for 4-year terms. The board consists of a member of council, 1 city resident at large, and 1 individual or city or non-resident knowledgeable in groundwater protection methods.
Very good.
We have received an application from Jan Hunt for the resident at large and Mr. James Brody as our professional.
Michael, did you still want to serve on that board? Okay. Okay. I don't think we need to worry about having your, as a reappointment, if council so wishes. And I think we know who you are, and we don't need you to fill out an application. Would there be a motion for the council member position?
I'll make a motion to appoint Michael Mostrovich to the WHPA Appeals Board in the council member position for a 4-year term ending August 30th, 2018.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion? Any audience participation? Back to the table. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Is there a motion to reappoint Jan Hunt for the resident at large position?
I move to reappoint Jan Hunt to the WHPA Appeals Board in the resident at large position for a 4-year term ending August 30th, 2018.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. We appreciate Jan serving on that board previously. Is there any other discussion? For those at home, the WHPA Appeals Board is the Wellhead Protection Area Appeals Board. We're trying to protect our wells. And when somebody does something that would affect it in our area, they're to notify us, and then this appeals board, if we denied it, this appeal board would hear.
Correct.
Okay. Yes. I'm not sure that we've ever met.
They've met to have organizational meetings and kind of go over the plan and the roles and responsibilities. We haven't had something that has triggered the wellhead board,
which is great.
That's a good.
That's really good.
We haven't had a meeting, but
sure, but we're there.
We're there,
just
ready
in
to
case.
go.
Very good. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. We also have Mr. James Brody, who has served on this board. We need to reappoint him to the resident and non-resident position for a 4-year term. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint James Brody to the Wellhead Protection Act Appeals Board in the resident, non-resident position for a 4-year term ending August 30th, 2018.
Support.
Made and supported. Any discussion? You're not? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. One more item for consideration tonight is consideration of changing the location of the September 2nd City Council meeting. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider changing the location of the September 2nd council meeting from the city offices to the schoolhouse at the Historical Society of Bailey Park, located at 36045 Park Street. We made this switch last year, and it seemed to work out for the meeting following Labor Day. So we did ask the Historical Society if they would host us again, and they agreed.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to change the location of the September 2nd, 2014 City Council meeting from the city offices to the schoolhouse in Bailey Park at 36045 Park Street.
It's been made and supported. Discussion. As John said, it was nice to have it there last year in the spirit of Little Days Festival. We're back in the schoolhouse. And appreciate the Historical Society allowing us to go back again. The motion passes. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. City Manager's comments, sir.
Just a reminder that this Wednesday is the final concert in the park. That is sponsored by senior helpers back at the pavilion in BB Park at 7 o'clock. And then also, there was a question on some of the weeds in the curb line. They started spraying last week. I know this week they plan on getting back out once some of the Roundup has taken effect for the weeds of the weed whips this week. So we're trying to get them killed before we just whip them up.
Very good. Okay. Moving on to council comments. Michael?
Nothing today, thank you.
All the way around? And I will go to the calendar. Today being the 18th of August. Summer's blowing right by. As mentioned, there's a concert on the 20th, this Wednesday, in the BB Park. What time, John? 7 o'clock. Also, we have an EDC meeting at 7 o'clock here at City Hall. That will take us through to the TIFL. We'll be meeting on the 27th still, right here at City Hall at 7 o'clock. That will take us through into Labor Day weekend already. Community Center will be closed on Friday, the 29th. The library will be closed on Saturday, the 30th, and of course on Monday, Labor Day. As just mentioned, City Council will have its next regular scheduled meeting on September 2nd, which will be held at the schoolhouse on Park Street in Bailey Park at 7 o'clock. And of course, the annual Good Old Days Festival will be September 4, 5, 6, and 7. Is there anything else that we need to add to the calendar? If not, we will move on. We have a closed session this evening. We need a motion to go into closed session.
I move to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended, for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with negotiation of collective bargaining agreement with either negotiating party request the closed session hearing.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion? Any audience comments? Back to the table. Roll call, please.
Green?
Yes.
Nastrovich?
Yes.
Ricks?
Yes.
Yard?
Yes.
Goodart?
Yes.
Motion passes. We will take a 5-minute break and go into closed session.
There is a motion on the green sheet.
Yeah, there we go. We need a motion to reconvene in the open session.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We go to other business of the City Council. Consideration of approving communications contract. Mr. City Manager?
I presented a motion for you for your consideration on approving the 2014 to 2017 POLC Communications Officers Contract.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the Police Officers Labor Council Communication Officers 2014-2017 Collective Bargaining Agreement as presented, and authorize the city manager and city clerk to execute the same on behalf of the city.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go right ahead.
I do appreciate how staff and our communicators, our dispatchers work together on this. And then everybody appreciating the fact that although the economy is turning around, it's going to be a long time before government feels that revenue coming back. So I appreciate them working together on this and being fair.
Anything else? Okay, not. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There is no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion passes. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Chief's he's out there golfing. You can see it, he was golfing.
What?
He was having a